Am I on?
I believe so.
Is this thing on? Welcome to class in session. It's been a fucking crazy weekend. Some interesting things have transpired this weekend. We're gonna get to some of that in a bit on this show. There's a pretty cool event in Winnipeg this weekend. A lot of chiefs from all over the place, from Alberta through the prairies. We're in Winnipeg for a huge conference going on. These guys are basically holding industry accountable for the damage of land and a bunch of stuff, and they're adamant on seeing this the reparation of their lands seen through. So I had the blessing of meeting one of the great leaders in the First Nations communities, a fellow by the name of Derek Nepanak. Now Derek is he's very unique in that he comes from the old world in his train of thought, and he's well educated in politics, law, all kinds of stuff. So he's a fucking force, is what it is. So I want to say, hey brother, thanks for taking the time to meet with us. And can we put that picture up?
Yep.
Now, we had a really epic meeting, and at this meeting we didn't realize till after that the four directions were present at this meeting. Derek representing the north. Is it up? Yeah. Okay. So we have Derek holding the mask, representing the north. We have Eddie beside him on the end. He's Chilean. He represents the south. He was one of the great minds that helped put this coalition together, him and his wife. Beside Derek, you have myself, who represents the west, and beside me is our good friend John from Vietnam, who represents the east. Another really oppressed people, and not just oppressed internationally through the bullshit war that happened in their country, where the Americans needed a way to get heroin into the United States, but oppressed in their right to dietary needs. A lot of people don't know this, but in Vietnamese culture, cannabis is a huge part of their cooking. So I think their diet is being oppressed. There are people that they don't even believe in smoking it. It's like John's wife looks at us when we smoke weed like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You know, this is a spice. This is something you put in soup. This is something you put in food. What's, like, you're smoking that? And I thought about it for a second, and it really made sense. Because if we were all sitting around and some guy walked in with a pile of oregano and a pile of dill and rolled a joint of each and fucking started to smoke them down, we would think, what the fuck? You put that in soup, dude. But coincidentally, John's wife feels the same. You know, so it was really important to have all these people present. The Vietnamese are a huge voice in Canada. Now, what we met about was very revolutionary. I believe it could be the beginning of a cannabis revolution. We spoke about the needs for better education, cultural preservation, nutrition, the access to clean water, all that kind of stuff. And the problem is, they have to apply for so many things to get money for these things. Now, when the Canadian government signed this deal with these people, they made a deal, a flat-out fucking deal. Now, I don't really give a fuck. Our prime ministers will change all, like, throughout our history. And they're going to, you know, the fuckface we have right now is going to change. They're just going to keep coming. But we as Canadians have to protect our country. And the leader, you got to remember, these leaders, they're just bureaucrats. The federal leaders are just guys. that want a good, high-paying job with some power. So, as Canadians, we have to realize that, and we have to hold these people accountable, because this is our fucking country. This is our country. So you have to take that into consideration. Now, we're tolerated to a certain extent by the First Nations people. Throughout history, we've had to come to compromises on both sides, but really they've got the short end of the stick. So I went to Winnipeg to meet with a couple of the chiefs. Derek was the loudest voice that we met with. We also met with Donovan Fontaine, who's a very powerful chief as well. Now, what we proposed to them was that they adopt the federal medical marijuana program. See, when a government implements a program, these people have the right to adopt those ideologies on their land and govern it themselves. So, kind of what we did here, this is really heavy. We talked about setting up production facilities to supply medicine for not just First Nations people, but the rest of Canada, at the tune of, an affordable cost per gram. Now, the difference is there are certain things that we have access to that the rest of these guys don't. A lot of these companies, they're going after like, oh, hey, we just got 10 strains. Woo, we finally got 11 strains. Fuck, we've got 50 in our collective. There's no competition. So I think what's going to happen is, this is what we proposed, that we start producing medical cannabis, high-grade medical cannabis, in a very clean facility with very clean processing, not using any mechanical trimming. Employ people from their community to help work this thing. Now, we already know it costs between $400 and $500 to produce a pound of weed in Canada. There's no way around it. That's what it costs. People can fucking argue that all day long when they're trying to charge $10 a gram, $8 a gram, whatever. They can argue that all day long. But I know how much it costs. We've seen the real-time fucking tests done. We've seen the numbers produced. $400 to $500 a pound. The profits. Even at $500, or even at $5 a gram, that's still $1,700 to $2,000 profit on a pound. Now, let's say an individual had a facility that had the capability of putting 30 to 40 pounds out per month. Well, that's the equivalent to between $60,000 and $80,000 per month in profit that can be allocated towards social programming, towards nutrition. So when a household is under financial duress because the government keeps them down with welfare checks and stuff, they say, yeah, this is all we're going to give you. And it's just, we've done our calculations, we know it's just barely enough to live, and that's our point. So when a household is under financial duress, they can rely on the schools. They can know that when their kid decides to go to school, not only is that child going to learn, but that child's going to get a hot, super healthy breakfast. We're not talking bacon and eggs. We're not talking bologna. We're not talking that kind of stuff. We're talking health. We're bringing in nutritionalists to educate these people on how to properly prepare meals, all kinds of different things. So, and another big thing we talked about was just overall health, because their cancer rates have tripled on some reserves. Heart rate, or heart disease, diabetes. We know cannabis can control your blood sugar, can regulate it. We know that we can suppress appetite with it. As well, we can stimulate it as well, but we know that there is the ability to suppress appetite with it. People can lose weight. They can regulate blood pressure, regulate blood sugar, beat tumors. It's it's unbelievable what you can do with this plant. And once we communicated it properly, it all fell into place. We could see the consensus come as the thoughts were being processed. And it was a beautiful thing. So I want to thank Derek for taking the time. I want to thank Donovan for taking the time. Much respect, much love for you guys. Let's fucking do this. So we got a video. This is Derek. I want you guys to get to know this guy a little bit. So this is his stand, basically against the Indian Act and treaty cards. So here we go. I think it's 2 minutes, 38 seconds.
I don't want somebody's Canadian law to define who I am. I don't want this anymore. I want to be strong with you. I want to see us get through this together. Together. I want to put my support and everything I have into my faith in all of you. And in order to prove that, I'm going to throw this Indian Act card away. This Indian Act card is done with me, and I'm done with it. I'm putting this in the garbage. I ask you to support what we're doing in Manitoba. I'm going to ask you to support the Red Sucker Lake First Nation. All of the communities in northeastern Manitoba are taking a stand against industry and saying that you're no longer going to take the vast wealth of our resources without talking to us, without our free, prior, and informed consent. And some of those leaders are here right now. Some of those leaders are going to go home from here and they're going to go and break Canadian law because of what they've taken from here, the faith and the strength that they're going to take from here. They're going to go home and they're going to break Canadian laws that sits right now, because Canadian law is not built around treaty implementation. It's built around oppression and holding us back from realizing who we truly are. I'm going to ask you to stand with those communities in Manitoba who believe in their sovereignty and who are willing to do whatever it takes to stand strong in their territories and make sure that there's a future for their young ones. This is happening now. This is happening right now, and I'm going to go and do it with them. So with that said, I say, Chief Witch, thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Grand Chief. Thank each and every one of you for listening and for your support. I understand that we have a member of the council from KI.
Call upon the people who are here. Call it the Eagle Vision back home. Make us the Eagle Vision, not to see into the distance, but to see into the future, about how we need to bring it forward now to give us good guidance. And I say these not to be disrespectful, because I know how many people got an Indian status card one day and they thought that their treaty rights came with that Indian status card, but they don't. If you talk to the bureaucracy in Ottawa about that Indian status card, they won't even know what you mean by your treaty rights, because they're only there to administer a program. They're there to administer your identity. We need to take that back from them, bring it back into our regions, back into our ancestral lands, and once again empower ourselves based on who we are, from the teachings of the pipe, our language, our culture, our history, and the spirit of the land that we come from. We have to be empowered that way once again. And that's what the Treaty Caravan is all about. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're making the sacrifices. Be away from our families. here with my daughter traveling back up. My mom is here. My mom has lived in this territory for a long time. Her name is Josie Nipanak. I know that some of you know her, many of you know her, and you've taken very good care of her. I know that she's been adopted. She has a name for your culture. And I thank you so much for taking care of my mom. She's the one that brought me here. So, when we raise these pipes, we're looking for guidance, we're looking for, from the basis of respect, how do we move forward? Where do we go? Do we work with the existing political organizations in Ottawa? I've seen them not working for us. I've seen them not functioning very well. And the reason I say that is because in the winter time, there was a grandmother who was willing to starve herself in order to invoke treaty power. She stepped outside of her community. She went onto the land in Victoria Island next to Parliament Hill, and she was willing to starve herself for the benefit of her family. And we had to rally around her, and I saw that so often we didn't, because the messaging wasn't getting to a lot of the people that needed to make decisions. And I saw institutions and political systems that weren't working for our people. And that's why I'm so driven towards a consideration about what is tomorrow going to bring for us. So I say that respectfully. I say that as clearly as I can. Thank you once again for letting us come into your community. It's been a very, very difficult trip. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. The rain has come down hard on us on a lot of the road. Because yesterday and today it's been very, very challenging. But we know that this process we're going through right now, it's all ceremony. We've been in ceremony since we raised that pipe Thursday morning. Days and nights are passing, but we're still in ceremony. And that's I think what some of us are struggling with is to reconcile how do we function in all this we're in ceremony like this. But that's what we ask for. Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask for a blanket to be presented from our leader. This is the blanket of the Tsuut'ina people, the Tsuut'ina Pendleton, and our curator for museums, Bennett, she's going to interpret this design that was specifically made for us. And our leader, Leon, would like to make this presentation to the chief. And we feel appropriate to do it now because we can have it blessed for you as your trail goes ahead. And when you wear this blanket, when you think of this blanket, remember the prayers from our spiritual leaders that are here to help guide you. So I'm very grateful to them to help interpret this. And when our leaders speak, that's what we give as our victory yells. Be proud of who we are. Don't be holding back. Don't be timid to show that appreciation for what they're trying to do. Show our victory yell. It was the white man that gave us the clap. Oh, that didn't sound nice. Anyways, give your victory yells. So we went this way, Chief, and how we were shaped to interpret this design. Now,
honored to be in your presence. I'm honored to do this for you today. This represents our nation. In 2008 was our 125 years as a nation. Our head chief both had fought for our land. So with that in mind, we decided to make a blanket so that each member over the age of 18 can remember and be pleased with their heritage. The three colors here that you see, the yellow, green, blue, and red, that's our nation colors. So every time I ask for prayers from the pipe holders, these are the colors I give them. The three runners here on the bottom represents the two runners when in 1883 the government gave land to the Sarsi people. He was told to send two of his best runners out to run the perimeter of the nation. So they did. The third runner represents the youth of today. When we did the reenactment of the run, and the youth ran from all the different entrances of the reserve. So the third runner represents the youth. He marked his reserve with logs. So when he sent his warriors here to look for an area, he marked the area with logs. The beaver represents, we're part of the beaver people, the Athabascan nations, and this is our homeland. So there's the bow and the elbow. She really liked the mountains, so we have the mountains represented here. He always used to like children. He was very, very gentle with the children. So he's holding a child in his arms. We never noticed this until they started handing them all out. And this is one of the things, as I'm reading the archives, this is one of the greatest things that he left behind, was he always was kind to you children. So this is what it represents. So I hope you, I celebrate, and I'm really glad for what you're doing. All our nations are crying. We have to leave something good for our youth. And I always say this because there's one elder that I had the pleasure to know. She always says, pray for the children. So every time I hold prayers, I always do that, and I advocate that. So thank you very much.
I'd like to make a presentation, and that's Golden there right in the center with his fedora on. And he captured that fedora from a settler, not the modern factory line. That's how that fedora became symbolic of our head chief. I'd like to make a presentation to Grand Chief Bennett here on behalf of the people.
On behalf of Lieutenant Chief and Council Chief Roy Whitney, spiritual leaders and community, I'd like to ask the Creator to guide you guys on your noble cause. So welcome to our territory. Thank you, flag holders, bundle holders, nation members. It's an honor to see you guys in our traditional territory.
To our visiting respectful elder, Kashane. And you may have remembered Elder Kashane. First time I ever see a prime minister get smudged. And it was Elder Kashane that smudged him. That was Prime Minister Martin, I believe it was. And I remember as he's going around him smudging him, geez, really, I was just saying, put something on him. Get up to give us better rights. Here he smudged his behind for a long time. So I'm very grateful to cross tracks again with this team out here, and we'd like to make a presentation to to you as well, because without our elders' guidance, we certainly would have been lost. So, let's go ahead and welcome this.
And again, on behalf of Superintendent Chief and Council Chief Roy Whitney, elders, community, we'd like to give you this gift. A lot of these causes would not really mean anything unless we had our elders to guide us on this, our spiritual leaders. So it's a real honor to give this to Elder Cachet on behalf of Chief and Council, our community. Again, welcome.
I'd like to ask Elder Cachet if he'd like to say some words here at this time.
Always amazing. Buongiorno, non è mai venuto. Voi capo di casa. È che si sono detto. Chi ha che decide bene. I introduce myself in my tradition. My name is Standing Strongman. I'm of the Yukon land. My homeland, my home is Turtle Island. To me, there's a state called Canada operating on my land. For me to say that means it gives me my identity. When the Creator brought us down, He gave us freedom, equal dignity and rights to this land. He made us the stewards of this land, not to sell, not to give, but to look after. Because today we're very honored, and I'm very proud of our Grand Chief taking the leadership to bring awareness to the world, because it's going out to the world. More modern today. Our smoke signals a long time ago, it took time, but today we can have it just like that. Just by saying that, you know, we mentioned this morning, some of the speakers mentioned the NRTA. The NRTA has to be spoke about, it has to be understood, and they have to learn. They have over. That's it all. We cannot be afraid. You know, I was listening this morning and I was thinking of all the things that we've been having on our travels. And I remember many of our past leaders have spoken, have stood up for our rights in the best practices they know how. The 1969 paper, Harold Carter, all of the great leaders that were all there. The 69 white paper, the Grand Chief of Manitoba, at that time, happened to be my brother, Grand Chief Dave Shea Sr. You know, when I think of all this, and I look at my Grand Chief here today, I see the greatness, I see the vision is moving up. And one thing that we can never forget, we need to have a spiritual foundation. And that's what it's all about here.
We back? We're back. So I actually chose I had a different video in mind, and I think I gapped and wrote this one down because it was it struck a chord in me. So I'm glad I played it anyways. Perhaps we'll play the other one next week. It's Derek speaking at the U of W in Winnipeg, talking about how he grew up, the ideologies that were implemented in the household, all of that kind of stuff. So I wanted to share that with you guys. But I'm glad I played this one as well. So now Neil Young has been speaking out quite a bit on what's going on in Canada. And I think it took Neil a long time to wake up as to what's happening in Canadian politics. But I'm glad he's coming back to his roots and really embracing it, because he's got influence. You know, and he's for a long time, I think a lot of Canadians have considered him an American.
My favorite rock star now.
Nice. That's your favorite rock star? Yeah. I think, who would be mine? I don't know if I have one. Because they've all gone through good phases and bad phases. And I don't know if I can think of any of them that have just lasted and have been kick-ass the whole time. I'm not sure.
I don't like to idolize people, but that is a good cause.
But I'm really happy that Neil's like jumped on board and is raising awareness. He's been going across the prairies doing I think 5 shows. Talking about what's happening with the oil sands, talking about what's happening with the environment, and also covering the local problems as well. Because, I mean, in Manitoba, it's not the same problem as Alberta, and neither is it in Saskatchewan. So he's covering all walks of problems, and I think more celebrities need to jump on board to this kind of movement. So yeah, let's play this Neil Young video, and this is him in Winnipeg just talking about what's up. Yeah.
Tar sands in Alberta represent the largest industrial development on the planet. And as we've heard over the years, this is a very, very key element of the economic future of this country. But a development of this size, of course, has far more than simply economic consequences. There are huge social, ecological, and cultural effects of this huge development, which have tended to be ignored. And I thank Neil Young for bringing up the question of what Canadians really stand for in terms of treaties that are being made for the First Nations.
To be clear on the fact that, you know, what we're doing is that we're raising awareness on the treaty issue. The Athabasca Chippewa First Nation is fully engaged in economic development with the oil sands in our region. You know, we're totally for economic development for our future generations to come, but we want to do it in a reasonable way. You know, however we could say it sustainably. That's the key message in more ways than one.
I have said before that the integrity of Canada is at stake with this, and I still feel that way. I think when you make a deal, that you got to stick with the deal that you made. If you're going to change the deal, you got to talk to the people you made the deal with, and you got to change it. And the other thing I learned while I was growing up is, if you make a mess, clean it up before you do anything else. My mother told me that over and over again until I finally got it right. Now it's time for us to get it right. We've made a huge mess.
How do you get the average Canadian who doesn't know anything about treaties, who says, I'm not involved in a treaty, I'm not a First Nation person, how do you get them to say, it's time for me to care, and it's time for me to listen and understand that this has an impact on all of us?
I think more ways than one that, as a general public, you have a treaty that you don't understand because your government signed it on your behalf. And you as citizens have the obligation to understand that treaty first and foremost, because it's shrined in your Canadian Constitution.
We signed a contract. Canada signed a contract. Are you saying that people across Canada don't give a, they don't care? We made a deal, now we don't care because we weren't there. We don't understand what it is, so it's no good. This is a country. We have a government. We elected these people. They made the deal. This is who we are. We're Canada. We're all Canadians. Most of our cities are named after First Nations words. We have a deal. It doesn't matter. If you have a deal, you buy a house. What do you say? Well, I don't think I'm going to pay for it. You know, that's what a deal is. It's a treaty. Any deal is a treaty. It's like it's an arrangement. The thing that's important is people that are knowledgeable about these things are discussing them with one another, and some are doing it for Canada and some are doing it for the First Nations. They should do their work, but until that is done, we shouldn't do any more of the destruction of the land and plundering of the land that's against the treaties. While we're talking about the treaties and making the consultations that are called for in the treaties, the idea is to not do anything, talk about it, then decide what to do, then do it. Not keep doing it while you're talking about it and delay a conclusion on the talks.
We know now that mercury is putting out that industry is putting out increasing mercury every year, and we know that in the past 30 years, mercury in fish-eating birds has increased by 30 or 40% as a result. Well, there are also people that eat those fish. We already have a problem there, and I think that problem is growing. We have spring melt with these pollutants in it. When the snow melts, that we know based on Environment Canada's work is toxic to fish embryos in the river.
I'll tell you what, as far as muskrats go, and as far as animals and birds go, and the people who live on those lands, it is like a war zone, a disaster area from war, what's happened up there. It's gone. Reclamation is a myth. You can have reclamation, and maybe in many years it might look sort of like it used to, but underneath it's not the same. And that's why the First Nations people feel like the spirit of the land is being broken. This is something that we have now. If we take care of it, everybody's going to look at it in the future and go, that is really beautiful. We're so glad we kept it, because now we're doing things differently, which we will do differently. We won't be in the fossil fuel age forever. We will move past this, and then we'll be going, oh my God, what did we do? Look at these areas. We killed all of this. It's not going to be a good thing for our grandchildren if we don't do something.
We're back? All right, so as you can see, there's not more, it's not even a cry, it's a scream, and they're saying, hey, wake the fuck up. If you're not going to help us, we're going to help ourselves. And I commend them and I help them at every step of the way, so fucking A, we're going to play, I figured this would be one of the best tunes to play. It's one of my favorite songs growing up, and it's kind of touches on the subject of the Caucasians coming onto foreign soil and just being fucking assholes, and then forging a country run by assholes. So yeah, this is Iron Maiden, "Run to the Hills."
We want to take a little picture, all right? Because we want to keep this moment forever for us, all right? We're going to take a picture of every fucker here and all of us, all right? So we're going to stand, where's good, Ross? Down here or up there? All right, gonna count to 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, shit, I don't know, but when I count to 3, put your fucking hands in the air and scream rock and roll, all right? Okay. Right. 1, 2. 3. No, just joking. 1, 2, 3. this is a song that a lot of you want to hear, and you fucking deserve to hear it. So we're going to play it for you now.
All right. Yeah, I had to play that second video because I saw those guys over the weekend at the Pyramid Cabaret in Winnipeg. I want to say shout out to them. They're playing in Florida, I think, right now. They might even be done their shows in Florida. But fuck, what a wicked group of guys. And what a killer live band. They allowed me to shoot some footage that I shared with them after the show. And said I was going to play some on the show. And they're like, fucking A, right on. Pump it, we need exposure. So if you're anywhere in any city that these guys are playing, go fucking see them. It's a fun show. They got a trumpet player that plays a backpack. It's crazy. Symphony Crack Orchestra. These guys are awesome. So you'll see some of that footage. Now, 2 weeks in a row, I've been trying to play this hash video that I kept forgetting to play, or we just didn't have time, or I'm not sure what happened, but I put 26 minutes of pure smoking into this video, so I really want to play it. So I think we're gonna play that now. If you are in any way able to help First Nations people, if you have a voice in the public or somewhere in office somewhere or anything, look into some of these things that they're fighting and some of their proposed solutions. And I think you'll see a very logical and determined approach to preservation. So just wanted to add that, and we're playing the fucking hash video. So here we go. This is a little bit of my hash collection I thought I'd share with you guys. I rarely pull it out. All this stuff is very melty. Some of it extremely old. Like this piece is probably, I don't know, 2 years old, 2.5 years old. Shouldn't say all of it. This piece isn't melty. It's not very melty at all, but it's very strong. You can see there's some plant matter in there, no doubt about it. This red stuff here, very, very potent. Made from Seedman's Haze, is extremely melty. This as well, made from Seedman's Haze. Pretty melty. Yeah, maybe I'll start doing some rips of these. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kinds of hash here. Fuck! I think I'm gonna do a little aged hashish video blog. It's about 10:30 at night, day before the show. I don't know what I'm doing for the show, so I think I'm gonna start with this. I've got 23 minutes on my camera, and we'll see if I can fill it up. We're going to start with the not so melty. So this is the Alchemist, and I'm going to do 10 hoots in a row with a brief description on each kind of hash. Alright, so this one, little tiny rip I'm going to do here.
Oh boy, there we go. How's it going, guys? I think I might have it zoomed in. Give me a second. There we go. That's much better. Now, I'm not really prepared here at all. I don't have a lighter. I don't have fuck all. Give me a second. Let me get my shit together. We've got some trusty beelines here. Should be enough to do what we want to do. Gonna go through the house of the Alchemist here. Through my dirty room. To get a lighter. Hey, I want to show you this. This is a Bob High. I fucking love this painting. Bob High, you fucking rock. This is the Madonna of East Van. Here's another Bob High. This is Aldous Huxley's Acid Party. We'll do a little tour here. Just figured I'd share this with you guys quick while I'm in my room getting a lighter, because I really don't know what I'm doing for the show tomorrow, so here you go. There's something. There's something else. That's fucking crazy, eh? That's another Bob High. I love Bob High, he's my favorite artist. So here we go. Here's a Ken Foster. It's one of my favorite Ken Fosters. I don't know if you can see this or not. Haha, no you can't. Here's another Bob High. This is my all-time favorite in the Bob High collection. This is the High Priest Timothy Leary on the Cosmic Altar. It's a neoclassical piece. Early depiction of the Baphomet that Bob didn't even realize he was making. Lots of cannabis motifs. Datura, Brugmansias. Some angels coming out of the altar. Good job, Bob. Alright, now back to the matter at hand. We're gonna get high on hash. A whole bunch of it. Now, what could I use to set this camera up on? Let's see. Masters of Reality going on in the background. Let's try that out. It's a little crooked lensed, I know. That's alright. So we're trying the first one. It's not so melty, but that's okay because it's really strong. I'm going to do 10 hash rips in a row here. I got 23 minutes to do it. Now this one has a very almost like a caramel flavor. Yeah, almost like a caramel flavor. So we're putting that one down. It was really good. Now let's go with this red one. This one was a Seedman's Haze. Oh, look at the inside. Wow. I gotta show you guys this. Hey, what's going on? There we go. Wow. Holy shit, I better get my ass in gear. I only got 18 minutes left. All right, zoom you back out. Over here. All right, that should do it. So this one is from Seedman's Haze. It's very red. It's pretty melty. We'll see if we can film some of this melt. This one's really mellowed in flavor. It's got a very it's definitely deep. The Seedman's Haze flavors have gone away on it though, but still extremely tasty. This one here, I'm not sure what it is. By the smell of it, I think it's an OG. Again, beautiful. This hash is pretty melty. Like it liquefies actually, so. Oh no, I got a hair in there. We'll get that hair out of there. Look at that, it just snapped. Wow. I want to get an inside view of this hash too for you guys. It's very nice. Nah, fuck it. We'll deal with that later. Another show. So here's a piece. Extremely, extremely melty hash. Try to get a melty shot again for you guys. Oh, that's definitely OG. Oh, it's deep. Wow, is that deep? I think maybe a 45 micron, I'm not sure. Really good. Let's go with this little one here. It's really little and it's pretty dark, so it must have been super good. Let's see if it melts. Oh yeah. Pretty melty looking. Oh, we got Beck in the background. Beck's probably one of my favorite sad performers, next to Ben Harper. I think he's one of the most underrated performers, that's for sure. I think maybe we'll play some Beck on the show today. Here we go. This one's burning a little hot. Definitely 45 micron. Almost has that opiated flavor. Let's try the other little black ball here. See what this one's like. Very gray in the... So not all of this stuff is melty. Some of it meltier than others. That last rip, I've got some, my heart's beating quite rapidly, more than I was expecting. The flavor wasn't that amazing, but the buzz right now I'm feeling is pretty fucking intense. Wow. I'm about halfway through here. That one, I feel it in my eyes instantly. That was a good one. It wasn't melty at all. But very, very nice. Alright. Let's go with this one. This one is very old. The hash is really, I don't know, it's really neat. As it gets older, it changes. Like the high changes, everything about it changes. So if you do have the opportunity and the ability to keep some of your very magic melty bubble hash around, try to, because it's worth it, man. It's a lot of it, yeah. The molecule breaks down and there's a lot of things that happen that I really don't understand. So I'm not going to pretend to tell you what's going on with it. I really don't understand what's happening as my hash is aging. Something is degrading, but that degradation is making it better for some reason. So look into it. Some things you're just going to have to learn on your own. Woo. I hope everybody had a good New Year. That was really fucking good, guys. Whew. I put a little more than I thought in there. All right, 4 left. This is getting hard, man. Let's see what this one does. Wow. So beautiful. Smell it. Smells like Afghani. Alright, I'm taking a hit from the middle of this piece. Let's see how this works. Oh. I'll tell you, I'm starting to get pretty high here. Got Raging Slab on. I hope it's not disturbing anybody. I do have a roommate. Wow. That one was really good too. So each one of these have a slight different flavor. I gotta give my my nose a little wipe here. Oh. So yeah, they each have a slightly different flavor. There's different nuances I'm noticing. Some of them have, I don't know, a deep, almost leathery flavor. Some of them have a very spicy flavor. Some are burning hotter than others. That may be some ambient moisture that individual pieces have picked up, depending on how dry they were. But one thing I have noticed is everything is extremely fucking strong. Stronger than I remember it, actually. Something too, aging hash. Let's try this piece. Wow. Holy shit. You guys gotta see this. I'm zooming in. That's what I'm about to smoke. I really love hashish. Now I've got 7 minutes and 18 seconds to finish these hits here. I think I can do it. That's a realistic achievement. You know, I try not to aim too high, you know? So this year, 2014, it's going to be an interesting year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to commit to you guys for the whole year or not. We'll see what happens. As you know, or maybe you don't know, but the program here in Canada is coming to an end on March 31st. So that kind of leaves me with a bit of a conundrum because I fucking love growing weed. And I'm kind of on the radar now for growing weed with the RCMP, with the local police known for cannabis. And I'm known to have a medical license. So we'll see what happens once this license is done. I anticipate a little bit of oppression. So I think I might be fucking off. We'll see what happens. But let's see if this one melts. What a flavor. Oh my god, is that such a deep flavor? Oh. Wow. I'm sorry guys, 1 second. Oh. Wow. Okay, I don't know if you can hear the music playing in the background. I'm sure you can. It's a song called Banamali. Great fucking tune. But it's kind of how I'm feeling right now. So stoned, swirling. That last rip has just got me looping. Whew. All right. 2 years old, roughly. We'll give this one a shot. I don't know if I look any more stoned than when I started this segment, but I sure as fuck am feeling more stoned. That's a pretty big hit. And I mean, like, all of these hits I'm doing are pretty big. All right. All of a sudden, I just got hungry. Wow. That one's got the best flavor so far. It's very aged. I don't know if you know that flavor that the really nice Afghani has, that deep kind of clay flavor. That's what this has. You can no longer tell that it was made from a Kush, or that it was local screen bubble hash. I think if I smoked that with anybody, they would think it was an Afghani. It tastes a lot like the Afghani that Bubbleman smoked with me in Amsterdam. Although the Afghani that he smoked with me in Amsterdam was a lot better, this still tastes really nice. There's quite a big rip left here. Old school, man. Alright, last one. This is that little red Seedman's Haze piece. I'm gonna take a chunk off of here. It's almost sandalwood in color. Whew. Got Aphrodite's Child playing in the background. I don't know if there's any old school fuckers out there from Greece, but if there is, that's for you. Alright, last rip out of the 10. I just did 10 rips in a row in roughly 20 minutes. Whew! Getting pretty stoned. Wow. So stoned. Wow. I'm so high I think I'm hearing David Bowie.
We didn't freeze? Alright, so I finally got to play that hash video. I'm so high I think I'm hearing David Bowie.
Yeah, I almost heard him too.
Yeah.
Then I realized,
Nah, it wasn't that. No, couldn't have been. Now, John from Medtainer stopped by. How's it going, John?
Awesome. I'm just smoking some fine hash, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, some.
John showed me some pretty exquisite looking hashish. Pretty exquisite looking hashish indeed.
Yeah, just smoking some nice hash.
Woo!
Woo!
Gotta love nice hash.
Oh, and this here is just the heads, just the glandular heads.
Let's
We're gonna
put it to the fucking.
put it through the test here. Got them in these nice little containers, and
Now, what's the return if somebody's expecting to get just pure heads?
probably about
5%?
depending on what head you're looking for. because there's so many different separations, right? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and when it comes down to something like this, I would say maybe a yogurt container full of dry sift would probably give you maybe a med tanner full of glandular heads, and a little bit less.
Yeah.
So it gives you an idea, right? Just the best way of maybe saying if this was full
So maybe
of dry
maybe
sift,
2%.
right? You would probably get one of these full of just these
heads. Yeah.
Just heads.
So very small amounts. So when you look at getting roughly, 10 to 15%,
and we're just talking a little bit. Like you can see that they're just little balls, and this is of course our friend Bubbleman. He does this, and
he's learnt the sacred technique.
It's 100% just the fresh headies.
Nice.
And it's amazing, and I'm just so happy to be able to sit here and.
Well, I'm really happy you stopped by. This is awesome.
Ah,
what
you
a
know,
great way to carry on such a fucking amazing weekend.
In the
getting
area,
to partake in this now.
Heard you were doing a hash video, so I was like, I gotta show up with some hash.
Nice.
And I felt the hash video.
Well, I've been putting it off for so fucking long. It's like, yeah, we're playing this hash video, and then we didn't. And then, hey, guess what? We're playing a hash video. Yeah, no, guess what? We're not.
I'm gonna hit you with this 90 fresh frozen we made on the glacier.
Oh, I dig it.
Yeah. We're gonna have some plus some hash.
Sounds good. And I think we're gonna play some more Symphony Crack Orchestra because these guys are fucking awesome. So I want to give a shout out to the mad violinist and the crew.
Sweet. It bubbles so nicely.
Let's play the stuff that I filmed at the Pyramid. First one's 17 minutes. These guys rock a fucking wicked version of Eleanor Rigby. It is like, I don't know. What a good show. So, this is at the Pyramid Cabaret. Well, that's it. That's all good. Yeah, it's at the Pyramid Cabaret. That was a very nice hoot.
I know, isn't that? This is going to be the first bounce.
I
always talk about that.
I love bounce.
The first bounce. So what we talk about is cutting the fresh bud that is not fresh, that has been nicely cured and hung dry, and you cut it and you bounce it onto the screen. It just hits the screen and you just trim it like you would do anything else. 99% of the growers, I say, throw this in the garbage. Yep. But that first little bounce is actually the gravy.
My dry room is full of bounce. I don't collect it. It's
well,
I should, but.
That's what I mean. It is the nicest, like you're saying, you're smoking. It's like wow. Well, I don't do anything different than you do, except for I just let it, instead of dropping it on the ground.
I make it sometimes, like when I'm trimming. Sometimes I'll make it, but
I know.
Like I'll just use the bubble box and. But yeah. All right, here we go. This is Symphony Crack Orchestra at the Pyramid in Winnipeg.
In Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Nice. Hometown for you.
Oh yeah.
We want to say that it's been an awesome 3 days in Winnipeg.
Yeah!
Y'all give it up for the Symphony Crack Orchestra. We came all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. And like I say every night, we don't give a damn if it's rain, snow, blizzard, sleet, hail. We will always come back to Winnipeg because we love you here. Hey, y'all stay right there for a while, man. So the first three songs that we played were originals, and then we went into Eleanor, and then Burn. This next song is one of my first songs off of our first album, which we have here tonight. Oh man, he gets that all the time. Why do you have to do that to him?
Let's get fucking up, man.
This song is called Battlefield.
Let's do the brass.
Symphony cries.
We're back, and I'm gonna do some 90 micron fresh frozen, apparently. Ooh, stanks.
Like apparently, I was just like, yeah.
Well, it's apparent to me. I didn't say allegedly because that would be in question. Apparent means it is indeed 90 micron. It's apparently.
I know it says 160, but the way this is just, it's the container.
It is apparent to me that is 90 micron. I got Micron Vision. I got it installed yesterday. So I can just
what's
tell.
this?
I can just look and it goes, puts everything on a grid, and I can just tell.
I think this one's Betty Hayes.
It works through Bluetooth.
If it's the bluey. I was trying to give you a big token. I just got to give it to you. Right, so.
That was awesome. So, if anybody wants to get involved in this alternative medicines program and natural foods production going on, that's just in its infancy right now. Go down to Eddie's spot at 1402 Main Street. Eddie's got the first. He used to be on Sargent, but yeah, he's got the first, I guess, real vapor friendly and smoke friendly spot in Winnipeg, and yeah, they could use the business, and it's a good environment, good people, yeah, and you can learn a lot about what's going on, talk some politics, talk some weed. And
educate yourself.
Yeah, educate yourself. If there's some people that don't know, maybe you can help educate others. So yeah, go down there, check those guys out at 1402 Main Street. Now, there's going to be a lot of obstacles for sure. It's not going to be as easy as, hey, let's just do it. There's going to be a lot of learning. Because there are already four licensed providers here in Canada, so we have to figure out what to do differently, because we know that they're not going to succeed, I don't think.
Well, apparently there's going to be 49 of them in total, 57 by the end of 2016, or 58.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, there's over 500 applications in, 280 are in process, so you know what? There's just everybody's going for these licenses when really you can just grow your own.
That's another thing that we're going to address with this initiative is the possibilities of First Nations people utilizing the old system of personal production licenses and designated production licenses as well for a limited amount of lights, not plants. Stuff like that, so that it can be assured that the production can't exceed the amount the light can produce.
Give it an outbuilding, give it a steel structure, give it a smart meter, and there you go. You got
none of that oppression.
Shouldn't
just
happen, but
So there's a lot of things that we're toying around with. We have a doctor on board.
Nice.
I was approached by a fellow yesterday that represents a coalition of 40 doctors that communicate with the College of Physicians on cannabis-related studies and stuff. They want to be involved. I imagine there's going to be a lot of people coming out of the woodwork to try to get into First Nations lands. But I want to let everybody know this is for First Nations people. They're going to choose who to involve outside of First Nations people, and that's about that. Like, this isn't a cash grab for the rest of Canadians to come on to First Nations land and set up shop. This is something that First Nations people can do to sell medicine to the rest of Canadians, and to subsidize medicine for their own people, and to
help with
design healthy menus, help people learn how to prepare meals. Also, cultural preservation, extracurricular activities. If a child wants to stay after school and learn indigenous languages and stuff like that, they can learn how to cook a meal that's consists of ingredients solely produced on that reservation, and all kinds of stuff. So this is going to be a really cutting edge thing, and if anybody wants to support it, go down and see Eddie, 1402 Main Street in Winnipeg there. Fuck yeah!
I shake every time I talk about it because it's like, I can't believe it.
Because you're passionate about it.
No, it's crazy. No, it's like
It's
really.
real.
This is heavy duty stuff. Like,
It's good stuff.
who do we got here?
I always like nice buds.
Somebody just texted me about the Métis people. Now, the Métis people aren't under the same treaty law. Although the Métis people are fighting for their right to adopt those treaty laws and have them apply to their people, that fight hasn't come to fruition yet, and we're going to see what happens with that as well. And also, it's not the same. I know the Métis have been persecuted quite a lot throughout history. At one point, they were completely unaccepted by Caucasian culture, and they were completely unaccepted by Native culture in some areas.
Wow.
Well, yeah, well, because they had French in them on one side, and then on the other side they had First Nations blood, or whatever nation they belonged to.
At least society today isn't like that anymore.
You know,
it's nice
so,
to see.
So I do understand their fight. I do understand the Métis fight, but I don't want to discriminate or discredit their fight. But I don't think it's to the same severity of oppression as the First Nations people have the actual indigenous people to this land and their culture. So yeah. I like I said, I do recognize it, and I don't want to discredit it because it is a worthy cause. And in my own family, we've traced our bloodline back, or my cousin did, and it goes back to a guy by the name of Alexander Henry. And Alexander Henry, he was a French explorer, and he ended up marrying the daughter of a chief, and he helped their people out in a lot of different ways I don't quite understand yet. I have to go back and read. So I do come from a Métis, I guess, bloodline, but that's not what this fight is about. This fight is about the indigenous people of Canada, and the indigenous people of Canada's alternative medicines right. So that's what this solely pertains to. And through the production of these medicines, their people can regain a lot of culture and regain their health and
Life.
Yeah.
Give you, I don't know, I always talk about gives you spirit, gives you...
It's true.
It does so much.
Food is
for
medicine.
You, right? So.
Weed is medicine. Like lavender is medicine. It's not just like these guys are just going to be growing a bunch of weed. No. They're going to be growing kale. They're going to be growing mushrooms. They're going to be growing all kinds of things that are healthy for us, and that's that. Like, and even alternative medicines. It's not just going to be weed. There's going to be lavender. There's going to be, St. John's wort, golden seal, like all kinds of different
mushrooms.
Well, yeah, like I had mentioned the mushrooms for sure. Like this isn't the end all and be all.
Dandelion ring.
Yeah, there's a whole synergistic diet. And cannabis holds a major role in it, kind of like protein does in our diet. But it isn't the end all and be all. So it goes above and beyond cannabis. Cannabis is just a vehicle and a way to help, because the rest of Canada is jumping on board on this cash grab. I don't see a reason for First Nations people not to be involved. And because of the way the laws work and the treaties work, and the government programs work, I don't see a reason why it can't be embraced on any treaty land. You guys can adopt these policies and experiment with them. So yeah, if you're a leader of a community, look into it. 1402 Main Street in Winnipeg, you can send them a message or send them a letter. I don't know. If you're out of town, if you are in town, go drop by and talk to them. And we're going to get a website up and running if you want to be involved with this. So fucking A.
enough of that. What do we got left for time here? 12:51. You know what? Let's play this lights video. This is again Symphony Crack Orchestra, and it just shows it's another angle on how good these fucking guys can be. Live set, so good, so good, so good. After that, we're gonna come back and peace out of here, and yeah, keep doing something. If you're doing something, if you're not doing something, just by smoking, you're doing something. So if you're hiding and you're smoking, don't be fucking ashamed. Go public. Go public. Just do it.
It's just the way it is.
You know? That's all I can say. If I were you, I would do that. If you're you have to think for yourselves. I can't actually implement something like say you do it. So
yeah, some people it's the society.
Yeah.
They get caught up in I can't, my job, and
there's all sorts of and it all boils down to just personal hurdles that you have to get over internally, and I can't say that you're ready for that or you're not ready for that.
But
so
thanks for Washington, Colorado.
Yep.
Setting up a difference, and you know, if you're not
and Washington and Colorado are I heard something about this contest they're having, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's Washington and Colorado are in the Super Bowl, so you got the two states that just legalized. That apparently are now in the Super Bowl, so it's going to be a smoke fest too, guys. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. I mean, I put on my Facebook page right away. I was like,
that's kind of crazy.
It's pretty cool.
It almost seems scripted.
Yeah, you know, but it's getting the word out there.
You know, the bowl, it's the Super Bowl. Let's just rock this thing.
But what we're talking about is that message. That message is I mean, hey, it's really it's world's changing. I'm just happy to be involved and being here to see it, like you guys are.
Interesting.
It is.
They should have a weed contest too, and the winner of you got to win everything. So just like the football is only a part of it, right?
I wonder who at the end of it when you win the football,
you got to win the game.
Is the football gonna have a weed? Or is there gonna be something? They got to do something like that.
Yeah, you got to win the game. You got to win most yards. Fucking.
It's gonna be
run. You got to win most tackles. You got to get fucking best hybrid, best extract. You know, just have a whole bunch of fucking
the commercials
categories.
in between halftime stuff will be all about. Well, this dispensary's got this. We've got that. Oh, come on down to Main Street here. We got this, and this strain. It won't be your Pepsi. It'll be where to get your concentrate. It'll get your bubble hash, or where to get your color kush.
Budweiser's new dispensary. All right. Okay, so here's lights, and here's Symphony Crack Orchestra.
Peace.
It's crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's do this, man. I honestly, on YouTube, just woke up one morning and just freestyled this. I had no idea it was going to get that many hits, but after 38 videos trying, that's what's up. I appreciate y'all. Reese on the horn. Casey Krogan on the drums. Mikey the Man Beluso on the bass. The man with the best mohawk in the world, Matt Barrett. The most talented, Chris Morgan. We're the Symphony Crack Orchestra. Y'all give it up and drop the line. Stay tuned. Peace.
Symphony Crack. Symphony Crack, baby. Symphony Crack. Symphony Crack.
Eat your marijuana.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Totally.
All right, we're back. So, last little leg of the show, we're out of here. I'm gonna do a rip of this skunk Afghan, allegedly.
I might try that. See what happens here.
That's the one that you thought was spicy.
Was it spicy?
Yeah, just the last one that you did in this.
Oh, okay. Oh, that. Yeah, that was nice. That was good. Nice uplift to it. Really a little bit of a punch.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's
So, thanks for watching Class in Session. If you are in Vancouver, come to 307 West Hastings. Buy a bong, buy some papers, buy a shirt. Who knows? Buy a bunch of stuff. A book. They sell everything here.
Buy a Medtainer.
Buy a Medtainer. Visit the Urban Shaman downstairs.
Get a free Mark Emmer shirt.
Yeah, grab a free Mark shirt. Say hello to Chris Bennett and the crew.
Come on upstairs.
Come on up to David's Museum. Lots of fucking shit happens here. Pot TV.
It's a pot block.
It is the pot block. Come on down and visit it.
That's
the 300 block of West Hastings.
It's a great place to be.
307 specifically is where it all happens. So yeah, peace out and keep fighting, keep smoking, keep jamming, educate when you can. That's that.
Be good to yourself.
We're out.
Peace, guys.
Fucking A.